What's the best way to show you're overpowered? You defeat an entire army at once. Yes, you fight one whole army alone and still come out as the victor. Today, we're gonna see 15 one-man versus army fights and speak about 10 characters who are way too overpowered for their own good. Without waiting, let's get started. Number 15, Thors vs. Army, Vinland Saga. Thors! Let me ask you, what does a good anime need? No, not just a good premise, but a good opening sequence as well. And being an action anime, Vinland Saga delivers a stunning opening where one character takes down a whole army at once. The opening features Thors, the strongest Viking of that time, toppling ships full of Vikings with his blade and fists. He also has Thorkel to support him, and the duo manages to bring down an entire army of Vikings without breaking a sweat. This premise managed to show why Thors was the strongest Viking of all time and why the rest of the soldiers feared him. Moments like these are what made his death extra sad. Number 14, Gilgamesh vs. Rider Army. Ever since his first appearance, Gilgamesh had been someone who stood at the top of the power hierarchy. Gilgamesh first made his appearance in the Fate series' 3rd episode, where he impaled several dozens of assassins without even lifting a finger. But that wasn't his most badass moment. It came in the last arc of the series, where he slew Ryder's entire army with the power of Enuma Elish. Both Ryder and Waver Velvet were awed against their battle. And that was the moment even Ryder realized the power of one of the oldest kings in human history. And that wasn't even a battle, it was a one-sided massacre. When a man can unleash Enuma Elish, it's better to turn back and start running. Number 13, Goemon vs. Mafia, Lupin III. Usually when you disarm a person, you take away their weapon. But when Goemon disarms a person, he takes the weapon and the man's whole arm. This is one of those Sakuga animation moments that perfectly managed to show an anime character's brutality and skill. Goemon wasn't someone who you could just throw to the ground and kick like a dog because the next thing you know, you're the last guy standing. Let's not also forget how he took down armed men with just one word. If you're impressed enough, don't forget to add him to your overpowered swordsman list. Number 12, Quon vs. Soldiers, Toa no Quon. It's always going to be better when the team leader starts showing off his skills. Quon might be too idealistic and think he can save all attractors, but he isn't just words. When an army of soldiers surrounds him, he doesn't forget to unleash his full power and show off his combat skills. There is the theme of willpower closely running through the entire fight, and the emotional soundtrack combined with Quon's rage made this scene even more epic. The anime boasted excellent animation from the start of the fight to the ending blow. It's sad to see this fall into the underrated anime list because people have forgotten a lot about this series. Number 11, Tanya vs. Army, Yeuja Senki. This lolly isn't someone who you could categorize as cute. In the anime's 11th episode, she takes over an entire army alone, rapidly shooting each one of them before finishing them off with a single rifle bullet. Yes, one bullet. She needs only one bullet to kill an entire army. That's how skilled she is. One of Tanya's main tactics is to outmaneuver her opponents and lure them to close quarters before killing them off with her mage blade or spells. So you can see how that plays to her advantage in a one-man army fight. In the end, the soldiers learn their lesson of underestimating anime lollies. And let's not also forget about the fantastic sound design and animation of the entire fight. Number 10, Rory Mercury vs. Bandits, Gate. Nope, we're still not done with making little girls overpowered killing machines. Check how she massacred an entire army of soldiers during the three-way firefight between the US soldiers, Russia, and China. Rory has a super fast speed and is a master in the use of the halberd. She uses the same weapon to dodge rapid oncoming bullets and make fatal attacks. Let's not forget how she kept smiling while attacking and until she was the very last one standing. She also didn't take any damage from the oncoming bullets and managed to become the victor of this three-way fight, without even a scratch. Who needs an army when you can send just one girl to the battlefield? Number 9, Levi vs. Kenny Squad, Attack on Titan. Humanity's strongest soldier is good at killing titans and killing a whole army of men in cold blood. Season 3 started with a politically intriguing premise, but its second episode was still all action and hype. Humanity's greatest soldier pitted against his shady mentor and his crew. What are the odds? Well, odds don't exist in a fight with Levi. He shows his skill with the vertical maneuvering equipment much better than in previous seasons, as he uses the environment around him to both flee and attack the squad. Within a few minutes, the whole squad was dead, and the captain was lying down with a hat on his face. You know what they say, the walls are built to protect titans from Levi. Number 8, Whitebeard vs. Marines, One Piece. You know how epic a character is when he dies while standing. Whitebeard may not be one of the main characters in the series, but his appearance was enough to change One Piece's storylines. He takes an entire army at once and dies off, declaring that One Piece exists, leaving his attackers with surprised faces. Aokiji, Akainu, Kizaru all try to stand up against him, but he defeated them without breaking a sweat. Blackbeard may have killed him, but he did it with bullets and not with his blade. This was the final battle of the strongest man in One Piece, and even several hundred episodes later, we have never forgotten him. Number 7, Saito vs. Army, Familiar of Zero. Saito has come a long way for someone who landed in a fantasy world without any prior experience in sword fighting and magic. Apart from getting a tsundere girlfriend, he also seems to have gained immense power to take down an army all alone. As the other nobles leave, Saito stands alone to protect the fleet of Tristan from the armies of Albion. Compared to many other one-man army moments, this isn't a visual spectacle. But Saito's sheer courage and the character development he received at that moment is what makes this scene stand out from the crowd. And he didn't die in the end. Instead, he was saved by a fairy who would soon be another member of his harem. Number 6, Milza vs. Treaty, Grand Crest Senki. Milza may not be one of the main characters of the series, but then again, the anime side characters seem to have more power than the main characters. Milza is skilled with his sword, and even though he isn't one of the favorite characters in the series, he still has plenty of plot armor to carry around. When the soldiers attack him, he doesn't take long to defeat them and show his true power. He may look smug and evil, but he isn't one of those villains who boasts a lot and is weak when it comes to a battle. He kills a lot of people first and then gets to the boasting. Usually, anime Machiavellans don't have any physical skills, but Milza is a person who has both bronze and power. Number 5, Saitama vs. Subterraneans, One Punch Man. Perhaps cornering and attacking the man who one-punched a giant isn't the most brilliant idea, but Subterraneans, being the foolish creatures they are, decided to fight Saitama once, and they learned their lesson. But rather than speaking about the fight, why don't we take the time to appreciate the Sakuga animation here? There are many fights in One Punch Man with great animation, but this excels in the animation department because of the fast-paced movement and the unique animation style of Madhouse Studios. It was one of the greatest massacres of all time, and like many fights on this list, we're calling this a fight just because there are two parties involved in it. Number 4, Gotou vs. Yakuza, Parasyte. Unlike many fights, this time, our character walks in, kills a few gang members in the most brutal way possible, and calmly walks away. Either he is the most talented serial killer of all time, or he isn't human. Turns out the latter is more accurate. When you're a Parasyte, you get the ability to take down a whole army at once and even make it look like the bloodiest massacre of all time. The gang members may have fought other gang members, but they have never fought an overpowered alien, and they soon learn the consequences of fighting a creature with no morality.
なんなんだお前は。実験だ。拳銃や刃物を持った集団とどこまで戦えるかのな。
Number 3, King Bradley vs. Army, Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood. King Bradley inhibits the power of wrath, and unlike many other homunculi who got born from Philosopher's Stones, Bradley is a human who has the Philosopher's Stone infused to him. This grants Bradley enhanced strength, speed, reflexes, stamina, durability, senses, and even instincts superior to a normal human being. Even his presence brings a sense of intimidation, and when he goes mad, it is best not to stay near him. He showed his skills at his best when he took down a whole army at once, blasted off a tank, and calmly appeared on the top floor without even a scratch. Truly, the greatest military general of all time. Number 2, Ichiro vs. Yakuza, Inuyashiki. By now, you know it's better not to underestimate old men in anime. So fighting an old man with robotic parts is a big no-no. Last time, Yakuza gang members learned the lesson of messing with an alien, and this time they learned the lesson of shooting down a much older version of Iron Man. The greatest thing about this scene is the way Ichiro harms them. He doesn't kill them, but lets them suffer the consequences of their actions. Even though the sequence may seem brutal at first, we were glad to see how the Yakuza members got the punishment they deserved. Next time, don't go shooting everything that looks weak. Number 1, Alucard Level 0 Release, Hellsing Ultimate. Ever read the stories about Dracula? Have you heard of him massacring an entire army and awakening an army of zombies? If you haven't, then you've been reading the wrong stories. Alucard has regeneration abilities and enhanced strength and agility, which makes him the perfect weapon when fighting many people. But in this scene, we get to focus on his level 0 release. It is bloody, brutal, gory, but the way he awakened an entire army with the chant of Dracula is one of his most badass moments. The scene managed to show Alucard's callous, pessimistic, and ferocious personality. And ladies and gentlemen, here's one of the most dangerous monsters in anime. So there goes 15 of the best one-man army fights in anime. If your favorite moment wasn't featured, then drop a comment below. As usual, if you enjoyed the video, don't forget to subscribe and hit the bell notification so you can be updated as soon as we release a new video. Stay safe, anime fans, and I'll see you in the next video.